Hello, class, and welcome to NSRIC, the Nature Science Research and Innovation Center, the online education division, and to the course Introduction to Psychology. My name is Professor Dr. Neil Soggie. If you ever forget how to pronounce my last name, just think of a stogie cigar. Well, probably the easiest thing to do is to refer to me as Dr. Neil or simply Neil. I'll answer to any one of those. A little bit about me. I work at NSRIC, and you can contact me through the email on the website. I want to start off by giving you a little bit of an introduction to myself as well as to the course and what we'll be doing this week. I am a researcher and practitioner in the field of psychology, bringing over 3 decades of experience to the table. I have a PhD in psychology with an additional 9 degrees. Currently, I serve as a faculty member at the NSRIC and the University of Prince Edward Island. I have had a number of academic appointments across universities in Canada. These include places like, as I already mentioned, University of Prince Edward Island, as well as St. Francis Xavier University. Other places like Brandon University, University of Saskatchewan, Medicine Hat College, Southern Alberta Institute of Technology, Kwantlen Polytechnic University, and Langara College, to name a few. Now, not only do I work in academia, but I also serve as a member of the Professional Awards Committee of the American Counseling Association. And I hope this kind of highlights a little bit of my commitment to professional social service, and in particularly recognizing the achievement of my peers. One of my specializations is in the area of existential phenomenological psychology and meaning-based psychotherapy. And if you continue on further in this program to the advanced level, I actually teach a course in human resilience and advanced counseling techniques where we will focus on some of these areas of meaning-based psychotherapies. Something that you might be interested in is my most recent book, which is entitled Logotherapy, Viktor Frankl, Life and Work, that explores some of this area along the lines of a particular type of meaning-based psychotherapy known as logotherapy. Today, in our lecture, we're going to do a few things. First off, I invite you to provide your introductions in the online section, and we will also be exploring a couple of questions. First off, what is psychology, as well as how did psychology develop? So I invite you to take a little bit of time as we move through this and maybe share a little bit about yourself in the online section. As we go on, I want to discuss a little bit about the importance of this course of Introduction to Psychology and how it fits into the larger program, because this course is the prerequisite course for the program, Social and Community Service Worker. Now, there are 4 levels within the Social and Community Service Worker. There's the foundational level, the intermediate level, the advanced, and the professional levels. This Introduction to Psychology course is the first of 5 courses in the foundation level. Each one of the courses in the foundation level are 20 hours, totaling to 100 hours, where you will get a certificate in the foundational level of Social and Community Service Worker. The other courses beyond the Introduction to Psychology are Professional Communication and Rhetoric, which is 20 hours, Human Development Theory and Practice, which is 20 hours, Basic counseling skills, again, 20 hours. And finally, holistic wellness, 20 hours. Now, a little bit about those courses. Professional Communication and Rhetoric talks a little bit about how you can communicate with your professional peers and how you can present a professional persona to the public, which is very important. Secondly, we have Human Development Theory and Practice, where we explore how people develop and change over the lifespan. An infant does not think like a teenager. A teenager does not think like an adult. And a mature adult does not think like a teenager. All of them think differently. They develop in different ways. They have different life experiences. They each have their own needs, their own values that they are trying to work through. And we explore some of those and how we can deal with each population in terms of lifespan. Then we have the course Basic Counseling Skills. In Basic Counseling Skills, we explore the essence of the therapeutic relationship and how we can care for people and engage people in a way where we are authentic professionals there to help. And then finally, holistic wellness. And holistic wellness is where we go beyond those basic standards of physical health and financial health and explore how to live a fuller life, where we consider cognitive health, where we consider relationship wellness, where we consider spiritual health and well-being, all of which is extremely important in working through to make ourselves and our clients more authentic and healthy people. Then we have all of that together brings that total of the foundation level to 100 hours. The courses beyond the foundation level are all 25 hours. And so there are 4 courses in each of those other levels. So in the intermediate level, we have our first course, which is Career and Employment Counseling and Guidance, where we explore theories and ideas of how to help people find a career, how we ourselves can do what we are and make a living at it. That's 25 hours. Then the next course is Public Speaking and Leading Groups. Most people would rather be in the casket than speak at a funeral. People are so afraid of public speaking and leading groups, and yet it is an essential skill. And so we explore how we can overcome issues of fear and anxiety, and how we can understand how to lead a group effectively and communicate to a larger group with confidence. The third course is Critical Thinking and Professional Behavior, where we explore some of the thinking errors that are common to professional practice and how we can avoid being manipulated by clients in order to think rationally, to behave professionally. That's 25 hours. And then finally, in the intermediate program, we have Professional Ethics, Documentation, and Intake Processes, where we explore the basic ethical standards of professional associations within social and community service, as well as the importance of documentation and also providing assessment and intake to clients to bring them into a service provider. All of that together, if those are completed and you total 100 hours, you have the certificate then in intermediate level. To go on to the advanced level, there are again 4 courses. Those courses are History of Mental Health, Theory and Practice, 25 hours. Health, Psychology, and Addictions, 25 hours. Counseling Theory and Practice, 25 hours. And Psychopathology and Interventions, 25 hours again. That total is 100 hours, and you, if you complete all of those, will receive your advanced certificate. And then finally, we have the professional certificate, where you would begin with marriage and family therapy, where you explore not the individuals, but how the group, the family system, forms the individual and how to heal that system. That is 25 hours. Then we have crisis counseling and intervention, how to be safe in a crisis, how to de-escalate a crisis, as well as help others to heal from a crisis, 25 hours. Then we have the third course in the professional certificate, which is the Human Resilience and Advanced Counseling Techniques. That's that course that I mentioned at the very beginning, where we will explore the questions of why. When you live a why, you're much more resilient than simply living a how. Having meaning in life gives people resilience. And so how can we help people to find meaning within their life? And then finally, we have the very last course in this program overall in the professional certificate. The last course is Human Sexuality and Relationship Counseling, because all human beings are sexual human beings and relational human beings, and yet we're very afraid of the idea of sexuality and relationships, and so we rarely talk about it, and it becomes kind of a mystery. But as a social service professional, you'll be dealing with people that are struggling with these issues, and so it's important to be able to discuss them rationally and professionally. It's important that we understand what is normal versus what are the myths about what is normal. And then that will total 100 hours altogether for that professional certificate. So again, there are the 4 levels. There is the foundational level, which Introduction to Psychology is the prerequisite for. Then there is the intermediate level. Then there's the advanced level. And then finally, the professional level. So I hope you enjoy this course in Introduction to Psychology. What is psychology as far as the course description? This is a 20-hour course that introduces students to the broad areas of psychology, including the history of psychology, general research methods, biological basis of behavior, variations of consciousness, memory, language, and thought. It is also a course that surveys issues of emotions, personality, physical and mental health, therapy, and the psychology of situations. Overall, it is a course that provides the foundations as we float over each one of these issues, so that you have a basis as we move into deeper issues and explore how we can help those in need in our communities. Now, here's what we're going to be doing in each of the lectures. Today, as I mentioned, we're going to go through a little bit of an orientation introduction and then define some basic concepts, basically looking at how psychology became a discipline. The next lecture, we will explore the various types of research conducted by psychologists, as well as the development of ethics related to research protocols, and technology related to research. In Lecture 3, we will have a basic exploration of the biological basis of behavior and the development of what is known as the neuron doctrine. In Lecture 4, there will be the exploration of the nature of behavior, and this includes both conscious as well as unconscious behavior, and how it is in many ways something that has become its own subfield. In Lecture 5, we will explore the issues of consciousness, including alertness, sleep, comas, and delirium, as well as common topics that we often don't talk about, like hypnagogic and hypnopompic hallucinations. Then we will explore Lecture 6. And in Lecture 6, there will be an exploration of the mechanisms required to sense the world around oneself. In Lecture 7, there will be an exploration of the mechanisms required to interpret the world and develop perceptual levels of awareness, because sensation and perception are not quite the same thing. Lecture 8, we will survey levels and theories of learning and how it relates to things like skills development, knowledge assimilation, and the idea of accommodation, as well as zones of proximal development. How is it that we learn? Lecture 9 is a survey of the various types of memory and the structures underlying each type of memory. And these will include issues of amnesia, forgetting, memory decay, and dementia. All of these will be explored. Now, at the end of Lecture 9, there will be a quiz. And at this point, we will have a quiz to test your knowledge and ensure that you are learning successfully. Now, don't let it stress you out. It will be a time-limited, multiple-choice quiz. And I encourage you to try to do the test without any external helps. You will have 3 attempts at this test, but you will not be able to review your previous attempts except for your mark. But only your highest mark will count. So I expect that by the time you get around to the 3rd attempt, maybe on your 1st attempt, you're going to do extremely well. So don't let it stress you out too much. Just pay attention, do your work, and I'm confident that you will do very well. I'm not here to make your life miserable. I'm here to help and to help you to find success. So let's have fun together with this. Then we come to Lecture 10. And that's a survey of the ways that psychologists understand and define intelligence. Students will explore here the ways that we can evaluate intelligence, how people have intelligence capacity, as well as familiar ways of measuring intelligence. Then we have Lecture 11. And this lecture will explore the development, acquisition, and challenges related to language. Students will discuss the underlying structures and related issues, including things like fluent or non-fluent aphasia. In Lecture 12, now this lecture will explore basic issues of ethics, specifically as they relate to psychological research and professional practice. Lecture 13, this lecture will survey the major theories related to human development across the lifespan. Lecture 14, this hour will focus on the interconnection between emotion and motivation. And students will explore the basic concepts related to things like stress and health and well-being from a psychological perspective. Lecture 15, here students will explore issues related to how people relate to each other in social situations and how to better predict behavior from individuals and groups. Lecture 16, this lecture will introduce students to the broad concepts of personality and its many components. Major theories will be explored and discussed about this. In Lecture 17, so this hour will introduce students to the broad categories of psychological disorders. So here is where things get really interesting and kind of give you a hint of what there is to come in some of the more advanced courses. In Lecture 18, now this lecture will provide an opportunity for you to explore the broad categories of ways of approaching helping people that struggle with some of these various psychological challenges. So that's more of a broad strokes picture. And then lecture 19, we will narrow in more specifically to some specific forms of therapy that are relevant to counseling psychology. And then we have lecture 20. And lecture 20 will be an opportunity for you to review and reflect upon what you have learned in this course, and maybe to celebrate a little bit all the things that you have learned. But at the end of lecture 20, we have quiz number 2. And this, again, is a quiz to test your knowledge and ensure that you are learning successfully. Again, do not let this stress you out. It will be a time-limited multiple choice test, and I encourage you to try to do the test without any external helps. Again, you'll have 3 attempts at this test, but you won't be able to review your previous attempts except for your mark. And in the end, your highest mark will count. So that's a little bit to expect in this course. So let's get on with the content of today's lecture.